This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn Batteries keep you out there longer.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode, we are welcoming back Travis, the president of Escapee's RV Club. Joining him today will be Brandon and Kerensa, who are two of the developers and instructors for RVers Online University. This is an educational program for RVers and prospective RVers looking for a one-stop shop for education about RV life, including everything from maintenance to full-time travel. This program launched on December 6th, and we were able to talk to them just before the launch. So let's jump into the conversation.
Hey, Travis, for anyone who might have missed your first two interviews with us, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Escapees, and could you also introduce Brandon and Kerensa?
Sure. So I'm Travis Carr, the president of Escapee's RV Club, which was actually founded by my grandparents back in 1978. So I've had the joy of kind of being involved with the club my entire life. I have a lot of grandparents out there. I've seen a lot of states, but no, it's really been a great lifestyle for me and still enjoy it. Actually, she's not here with me, but my wife, who sits right over here at the other desk, is the vice president of the club as well. And I'm sure you have seen her before, and we'll miss her today. And then Brandon and Kerensa, who are also here with us, are the brand director and marketing director for Escapee's RV Club, but also relevant to this topic, they also participate as RVOU instructors. We're going to get into a little bit, I think, about today.
So we're here to specifically talk about RVOU, and I think this is a new program, right? That you didn't have an RVOU before.
So actually, RVOU was created back in 2017, May timeframe, I believe. So almost 3 years. The purpose of RVOU was to bring an online education format that was reliable by our expert instructors, that really fit our brand and made it our education more available. So that's really kind of RVOU, and it was created a while back. However, we are updating it and adding a lot new material and new exciting courses this weekend, actually. So December 6th.
And I just want to clarify for everyone, because we keep saying RVOU, which doesn't mean anything to a lot of people. Now, RVOU stands for RVers Online University. So that's pretty clear. It is an online education program for RVers.
Completely online.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, completely online. This program is. We have different education programs, and we do something in person. And of course, Escapee has a lot of talks, and even the Escapers Annual Bash has seminars. I know that Sean has spoken at it. So, yeah. But this is our all online education program.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I know we at Escapees like to use acronyms a lot, and being so involved with it, I often just don't even think about those things. So. Thanks for catching that, Kerensa. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And you said that it originally started in 2017, but is now being updated. Was that based off of, I guess, maybe in a way, customer feedback or people that have taken the course and their feedback? How did you guys decide that you wanted to update the program?
Maybe a little bit, but honestly, a lot of it was, so RVOU, when it was originally created, was based upon what we call RVers Boot Camp, which is an in-person course, a 3-day course that our instructors put on, and it covers your operation, your maintenance, and safety. So the foundations of RVOU when it was created was based upon that course, that in-person course. So really what this is about expanding that education, about bringing some new content, new features to the program itself, changing some of the functionality, but also really a big component of that is bringing an entirely new course called Roadmap to Full-Time RVing. Correct me if I'm wrong on that title.
That's correct.
Yeah, so we've
we've gone in and streamlined the information. So we reorganized it a bit so it has a bit more of a linear flow. We've updated the information. We've modernized it a bit. And then also Kerensa and I started about 4 years ago.
At the same time, basically.
Pretty much the same time.
As RVers Online University started.
Yeah. So we started RV to Freedom. So some of you may be in the RV to Freedom Facebook group. And we created our own course called Roadmap to Full-Time RVing. And now we've merged that with RVers Online University. So there's two learning paths within the university. There's Roadmap to Full-Time RVing. So if you're looking to go full-time, that's going to get you all the nuts and bolts of the weird stuff like banking, mail, prescriptions, all that kind of stuff that you don't think about when you live in a house. And then there's RV Foundations, Operation, Maintenance, and Safety, which is really for the very new RVer. It's how to operate your RV, how to take care of your RV, and how to stay safe out there. So we have two paths you can take, or you can bundle them together and learn everything and hit the road.
Yeah. And so that was kind of part of the impetus to update everything, is they knew that that was a part that they wanted to get to. And so now with the addition of the course, it's a comprehensive course. And RVOU is continuously adding courses too. There's always other little lessons that are being added as we need, or, as things change.
As things change and based on feedback, if we get a lot of questions about a certain topic, then we know we need to add that to the course. We need to make sure that's understood.
So if somebody looking at the course for the very first time, how do they know where to start? Which courses do they need? And is the roadmap to full-time RVing, is that for somebody that's never RV'd before, or should they have a little bit of RVing experience and this is another step that they can take to learn how to become a full-timer? Or is that for somebody with no experience and they go learn how to become a full-timer?
So that's really for either person. Since this course roadmap has actually been out since 2017 too, and we've had a lot of students go through it, and we've had both people who are completely new to RVing and don't know anything go through it, that they just know that they want to hit the road full time and they've never been in an RV before. But we've also had people who've had an RV and they're weekenders, but that whole idea of making your life mobile and changing your lifestyle is a big step that's different from then just driving an RV or, hooking up. There's a whole lot of lifestyle stuff, like Brandon mentioned, the banking and all of this. So people who are part-time have found it useful. We do walk you through from the beginning about, this is what this life means. Here's some stuff about RVs. But then if you really want to get a deeper dive on RVing and RVs and the maintenance and the safety and all that, that's when you add that RV Foundations package to it.
Is it two separate? So if I log into RVOU, RVers Online University, I pick a track that I want to take. Is that how that works?
Yeah, there's two options for purchasing. So you can either purchase the RV Foundations, that's the Operation, Safety, and Maintenance course, and that has many lessons that talks about operation, safety, and maintenance of your RV. That's great for anybody with an RV, anybody who's looking to buy an RV, a weekender, part-timer, full-timer. Then there's the second course you can purchase called Roadmap to Full-Time RVing, and it really focuses on making your stationary life full-time. So we tried to keep it as simple as we could. We don't have a ton of options. You can either take the full-time course, or you can take the Foundations course, or you can buy both. So say you're someone who's watched your podcast and knows they want to go full-time, but they've never stepped foot in an RV. They can take both, get every bit of knowledge, and they'll know how to operate, maintain, drive that thing safely, and they'll know all the ins and outs of getting their mail and prescriptions and what kind of RV to look for when you want to be full-time versus part-time.
Yeah, I wish this would have been around in 2014 when we went full-time, from never having even tent camped. So,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we went from a pop-up camper to a 40-foot diesel pusher. And yes, we wish this was around then too. And that's why we made it, because we made some expensive mistakes along the way. And our goal is to help people avoid making the same old mistakes that everybody makes and make new mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally agree. And RVers Boot Camp, our in-person course, what this is modeled after, has been successful and been around since 2005. So it's not a new, it's a very established content and resources, and granted, it's been updated and kept up to date in that regard, but it has been a sold out course since day one every time we do that. And so this was also just a way to bring that content and make it more accessible, because not everybody can travel to a location. We only have so many seats we can have in a presentation format like that. In 3 days, you're limited on what content you can cover and how detailed you can go on certain items. And so this is about breaking that mold, really, and kind of expanding that horizon of our online content and accessibility to it.
So if somebody purchased both the foundation and the roadmap to full-time RVing, about how many days of courses are we talking about? And then how long are they able to access that information? Like, I'm a bit of a slow learner. If I don't get it all the first time, will I be able to go back and maybe, are there some type of notes or guidelines or anything like that I get to hold on to afterwards?
There's so much for you. There's so much for every kind of learner that there is. We try to adapt to accommodate that.
Yeah. So how much content? I mean, you could blast through it in probably, it'd be tight to blast through it in a week, but probably in 2 weeks you could blast through it.
If you were crazy and just sat down and watched everything, read everything, and did nothing else, you might be able to do that.
But
I don't know if you'd retain it though.
Right. The first big answer to your question, and the first big improvement on RVOU, is previously RVers Online University was a 90-day login. Now it's lifetime access. So for as long as we have something called RVers Online University and these courses, you're in.
And we're not planning on having it go away anytime soon. This is a foundation of our club.
And we plan to continually update the lessons within these two courses, and we'll also offer additional courses in the future.
And I wanted to talk about that too, is going back and looking at things and carrying those resources with you. With Roadmap especially, most people who take RV foundations, they're planning on getting an RV, or they've bought an RV, they're in it, they're doing it right now. Sometimes when you're planning on full-time RVing, you could be planning for a couple years in the future or 3 years in the future and thinking about it, but you want to start planning now because, which makes sense. You need, some of this is big changes. So go ahead and start thinking about it. So we do have students that are just coming back to it now and want to refresh themselves on some of it because they went through it. For example, Roadmap's broken up into 8 modules or sections. So we used to do it as say it's about 8 weeks of going through, so that you can kind of pace yourself. But you don't have to, you can take as long as you need. But they come back and they refresh themselves on the content. So now that they're are about to go buy an RV or about to hit the road, they want to make sure that they know what they're doing before they do it. So you have that lifetime access and can go back and do that.
And for your learning options, everything's in video presentations, but along with the video presentations, we have written transcripts of almost every single word we're saying. So those you can download, they're PDFs. You can follow along, you can take notes as you go, or you can take them and read them on the beach or wherever. We've also taken the audio from the videos, so you can listen to those in your car or while you're taking a walk with the dog or wherever. So we're trying to think about all the ways that people learn. Some people are better auditory, some people are better if they can see it on paper, some are better with the video, and just give you all the options. You can choose how you want to do it. Then along with the video lessons, there's handouts for most things. So we talk a lot about different apps, and apps change from time to time. So we may mention a few key apps in the video lesson, but then you get the handout and there's a much more extensive list. There's extensive tool lists, there's setup and teardown checklists, there's all kinds of extra information. And again, we update that as things come and go. If an app leaves, we try to remove it. And if something new comes about, we'll try to add it.
We've had people print out the resources to carry with them, especially those checklists for maintenance or setup and tear down, and even laminate them so that they can just kind of go through them and keep them in their book and keep them nice in their RV.
And then the other thing is you have our email. You have the email for Kerensa and I. We're instructors for the Roadmap to Full-Time RVing course. You also have the email for Jim Kocha, who's the boot camp instructor and the instructor for the foundations course and the education director for the club. So we cover 90% of what you need to know, but everybody's got a unique circumstance or a unique situation. So we're not just, here's your information, we'll see you down the road. It's, here's your information. If you need an interpretation or have some questions, we're here.
You can probably always find us when at events.
Yeah.
And always ask a question then. Ask a question of anybody there.
So you, Brandon, you had mentioned that it's in some of the courses are in a video format. Does it look like a classroom? Is the person teaching in front of an RV? Can you kind of describe visually what does the class or a course look like?
It's like a slideshow presentation where we have a lot of diagrams and things on screen, photos where you need them. In the future, we're going to be adding more and more video content as we go. We intended to do that this year. It's just been really hard to get together with COVID. So we've had to adjust our technique a little bit. But even with the RV Foundations course, you've got Jim kind of picture in picture on the slides. So you can kind of watch him talk you through things. With our side, we've got a lot of diagrams. Our side is a lot more in your head. It's a lot more about, mail, banking, those kinds of things. So, I could show you someone putting a letter in a mailbox, but it's more important that we get to the nitty gritty to it. And just to go into like the roadmap course, the way it's set up is we don't talk about buying an RV until you get to module 5 or 6. We want you to be thinking about what you want to do, where you want to go, figure out how much you can really afford to spend on this thing, figure out all the nitty gritty and the ins and outs. That way, when you go to shop, you're looking at the RV for you, not the RV that the internet tells you need. But if you already have an RV, we can still make it fit you.
I want to go back to the boot camp, Travis. And you said the boot camp, it's always sold out, and it's 3 days, right? About a 3-day course that's either on the front or back of one of your Escapees events. Does the foundations course, if I took the boot camp, is there still benefit to me taking the foundations course? Am I going to get any more information? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I think so, and the reason being is several reasons. One, it's a little different experience for one in the style of the presentations. RVOU is very much like an online university style. For those of you who kind of know school universities and how those kind of work online, that's how it's formatted. That's why it's called that. It's very structured in a kind of pretty professional and self-paced format, though. So while it's structured in that format and it has that kind of feel, it is at your own pace. There's no deadlines for tests and, these things. So you don't have those obligations like you're trying to get your degree, but, it is laid out in that style. The teaching style is a little different, but also the content on RVOU, we added, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon Kerensa, 16 new courses to RV Foundations this new update. So there's also additional content, and that goes back to that being limited on how you can teach in person because of the time constraints and what you don't have those online. So there is different content and expanded content on some areas for RVOU that you wouldn't get in person. But again, it is a little different. So in-person boot camp is still absolutely going to be around, will still stay around. It's still a viable option, and we're taking that into consideration with this cross content and how that's all going to play.
I like to echo what Sean said earlier, that I wish there was something like this when Sabrina and I were first getting into RVing, because when we bought our RV, we never RV'd before. It took us about, like Brandon and Kerensa were saying, it took us about 2 years to research everything before we purchased our RV and everything. It would have been nice. And it took 2 years because information was scattered. I felt like, anyway, information was just scattered all over the internet in forums and videos, YouTube videos, and you get referrals from somebody else. If you watch their video, they refer you to somebody else. I like that this is all in one place. This would have saved us a ton of time.
Yes.
And that really speaks kind of the history of what we've been trying to do as a club and organization. And, technology has changed a lot of things and the way we can do things. I wish this was around 15 years ago when boot camp was created, but the technology really wasn't there in the place. People didn't have access to the internet on the road like they do now. So things have changed, but Escapees has always tried to create this educational environment. I mean, that's why we've held our Escapade rallies and these gatherings. Back in the day, that was the way to do it. We had seminars all day. Our Escapade in-person event is still a 5-day event, and it's all seminars all day. I mean, it's about this education and sharing knowledge. So it really kind of, to me, speaks to that format. But now we can do it online. Now we have these new tools and these new new ways to learn that we didn't have accessible to us.
And I was the same as you. Like when I was researching, it took us, we had about a 2-year run to full timing as well. And for me, it was, I would watch a video and maybe it was 70% of the same stuff I saw in a different video, but then one extra little nugget. And then that one extra little nugget led me to believe like, well, there's something else out there I don't know. And so then you start just this spiral of watching video after video, watching mostly the same content, but you get that one extra little piece. And then
sometimes there'd be contradictory information.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, which is right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's some information, you know, I got on some of the forums and you can get some very, you know, matter of fact people that are like, if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. And I listened to that. And our first RV was just not the right RV for us. It's not the wrong RV at all, but it wasn't for us. So that's how we're trying to teach it. We're trying to lay things out there, give you the pros and cons of, you know, gas versus diesel, motorhome versus trailer, all of those different pros and cons so that you can see how that fits with what you want to do, the life you want to lead and in your budget, and make sure that you're not getting in over your head or you're not buying the wrong RV and then having to, you know, either settle for a less ideal experience than you wanted or lose money selling that and trying to get something else. I mean, no one's ever going to buy their last RV first, but we hope we can get you a little closer. And we're on our 3rd now. And I think Jim is on his 7th, looking at his 8th. And that's the nature of the beast. But if you know that, then maybe you know I need to start cheaper and just figure it out and then go buy the fancy thing that fits myself. Because we were New York City business people working in cubicles. Like we didn't know the first thing about boondocking and dumping tanks. So of course we bought the biggest, fanciest RV we could. Then when we tried to take it up in the woods, we're scraping it on trees and everything else. So, you know, you change a lot when you get out here on the road. So we're trying to give you that, bridge that gap between not knowing what it's like and, you know, at least get a good baseline.
And that's really where I was kind of going underlying with what my comments were, and you led into it perfectly, Brandon, is combined collectively as instructors of this course, we probably have close to 100 years of RV experience, of actual RVers, mostly full-timers, who know what they're talking about, have been teaching for, you know, a decade plus. You know, Mark Nemeth, who created the in-person boot camp, is still around today. He's still our technical advisor. He still answers questions. He still writes for the magazine. He's actually still in RVOU in some pieces. He's a mastermind guru when it comes to information. The same with Jim Kocha, our education director, and Brandon Kerensa. And, you know, I'm involved. There's a whole team behind the scenes that is there to answer questions and help out too. And that's what makes this a collaborative knowledge that Escapees brings to the table that I think is hard to find. And it is hard to find, you know, how do I trust this information when you get online? You know, there's some people you can definitely trust that have great education and great background, great history and experience that you can listen to, but they may not be experts in every field. And I think that's where our goal is we want to have an expert in every field that you can just come to for the answer and know you're going to get the right answer. And it won't be opinion based. It'll be based upon the knowledge that they have for your situation and for what you're looking for.
It's platform neutral then? So whether I was in a travel trailer, fifth wheel, class A, B van.
Yeah. I mean, we know people that have been in everything, you know, full-timed in everything from a pop-up camper to a Prevost bus. So we can actually, you know, if you have you want to try to full-time in a pop-up camper, I can get you connected to that person and they can give you their ins and outs. Yeah, it's completely platform neutral. We don't push one way or the other. We've had motorhomes, but we've had a pop-up. Jim has had pretty much every kind of RV that you can think of.
Yeah, so we try to cover it all. And when we, you know, there's some things that are universal when you're hooking up and tearing down, but then there's specific things too, to a fifth wheel, a travel trailer, and a motorhome. And like we have 3 different checklists for that so that you can make it more specific for you.
And we also discuss pros and cons. So, you know, motorhomes are nice and convenient, but they don't give you as many floor plan layouts. They're also more expensive to operate because the fuel economy is not so great. You have to have more expensive insurance because it's its own vehicle. So we get you into all of that. We're not pushing you one way or the other. We're just saying, you know, this is like this and that is like that. And then you need to look at your needs that we help you understand what those are and figure out what fits you, because we've been in motorhomes. We started in a motorhome and then we went to another motorhome. Now I'm kind of like, it'd be nice to have a trailer, for certain situations we have going on. So we don't care. We just want you out here.
We just want you to enjoy your RV life.
And, this actually ties back to, Sean, I think it was you that asked earlier, or maybe it was you, Kenny, asking about how, did some of the improvements come from customer feedback? And I will say one of the things that we did implement in this updated version is kind of the core structure for RV Foundation specifically. In the past, it was you had to take it all in order. Now in there is fifth wheel, how to hook up your fifth wheel, how to hook up your motorhome, tow vehicles and all that, which may not pertain to you if you're in a Class A. Why, and I can't skip ahead to see those sections. So Brandon's actually kind of reorganized some of that along with Jim and Kerensa and so forth to make those, you can look at any as you need. It's not a requirement to watch them in order anymore, and not a requirement to watch all of them anymore. We still have some requirements that are associated with the insurance discount, which you can receive by taking RV Foundations, but you can now skip around to those certain sections as needed, or the ones that just pertain to you the most.
Like right now, you might need to open that up and say, how do I winterize my RV? Like, we don't want you to have to watch 10 other videos to get to how do I winterize. So we've reorganized it in that way. And then Travis did bring up the insurance discount. So there is an insurance discount through 2 insurance providers they're agents, so they can reach out to a lot of different companies if you complete the RV Foundations course. So you will have to eventually complete all the videos and take a little test at the end. But once you do that, you'll receive a certificate you can use to get an insurance discount.
And that's worked with FCIS and Bancorp South, who are good friends of ours. They will absolutely help you out. Just FYI, they're who we would recommend reaching out to. So, yeah.
But when you guys were talking, I was thinking, oh, this would be a way to save money by not making mistakes. But you guys are actually able to save money through discounts as well, which is an extra bonus, really.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to save money. The big thing is, don't make mistakes, don't break things, don't buy the wrong thing, hopefully. And also we talk about the tricks that seasoned RVers use to save money on the road through membership programs, 1,000 Trails type camping, off-grid camping, staying at Cracker Barrel. I mean, we get into all of those different tricks that we all learn and pick up from other RVers over time. We try to get those to you so that, when you get out here, you look like a pro. Actually, our last module of Roadmap to Full-Time RVing is called Camp Like a Pro. Nice. So we try to give you just some of those ins and outs, those little things you'll just pick up around a campfire with 20 other RVers.
So you can just join that campfire and start talking about black tanks and solar right away instead of having to learn it.
Pro tip 1 to make friends as an RVer. Just start talking about the black tank.
I always say if you stand outside of your RV and look like you're confused about something, you'll make a lot of friends anyway, because everybody will run out and ask you if they can help.
Yeah, it's kind of like the internet thing. The way to get the right answer for something on the internet is to say the wrong answer, and then everybody will correct you.
So I know Brandon and Kerensa, you guys are instructors, and Jim is an instructor. Are there any other instructors actually on screen on video in the course?
Yes. So in the core of the courses, Roadmap to Full-Time RVing is going to be Kerensa and I, and in RV Foundations, it's Jim. But there's also electives. So we have an elective from Chris and Cherie from Mobile Internet Resource Center talking about staying connected on the road. We have an elective from Techno RV talking about tire pressure monitoring systems and how to set them up and how they work. And Mark Nemeth will have some gadget box electives in there. So we have various other outside instructors that we brought in that are experts in their detailed field. Just like Travis was saying, we're going to bring you the experts. We're not going to reinterpret things for you, and we'll add them in as necessary. So those are electives, and those electives you'll get no matter which learning path you choose. They're just kind of like extra information. So we put them in this elective bundle. So if you choose Roadmap or you choose Operations, Maintenance, and Safety, those electives,
they all come with electives, so that you can get extra learning. And none of those are required on that insurance discount. It's really just the pieces that you need and want to watch.
And we'll be adding more electives about planning for retirement, kind of through wealth management, through the multi-generational
Wealth management.
Yeah, multi-generational
wealth management.
wealth management.
Wow,
That talks about, purchasing an RV, things to watch out for, saving for the future, saving for breakdowns, that sort of stuff. There's some domicile information in there as well. And those things will constantly get added to.
You had mentioned planning for your budget. Do you guys talk about financing then, or finances, even in the beginning?
Yes.
Oh.
We
Yes.
do in Roadmap. We do have a whole section on that so that people can understand. Even we start it a little earlier when we talk about campgrounds and camping, and just give you an idea, breakdown of how much different types of campgrounds cost, so that you can put together a budget of how much you want to spend on camping. And then within the financial section, we go over different pieces of a budget, of a RVing budget, especially full-timers, because we're talking about Roadmap to full-timing.
And we have a sample Excel budget in there that it's got one tab that's pre-filled with some sample information, but then another tab that we tried to list every line item that you might need to think about as a full-timer, not just the RV stuff, but your regular stuff too, your entertainment, your dining, all of those sorts of things.
And that's all personal, but you need to make sure you account for it. So we want you to think about it all, so you're not looking at somebody else's blog and going, well, they do it for this much. That's great.
So it's
because that might not.
It's about addressing the things that you may not know you need to know either. So you may think these are the questions you have come to find out through RVOU or through education as a whole, and then learn that there's a lot more to it than what you realized there was to begin with. So
Exactly. We don't want you to be surprised on the road when you've got a big repair. Like, you need to plan for that type of stuff.
Yeah, and like you said, Brandon, the follow-up and being able to contact you guys with the follow-up stuff that you realized you didn't know that you might need to know that wasn't in the course, but brought up the thought of it is an important piece, I think.
Yeah, we know everybody's going to have some unique piece to their journey. A lot of the content is written as if there's a couple in the RV. Well, if you're solo, things change a little bit. How do you back in by yourself? And we can help you with that information. We can also help try to connect you with other people that can really, get you in there, get that information right for you.
Is this open to everybody, or do you need to be an Escapees RV Club member?
No, it is open to everybody. Members will receive a discount. So if you're one of our members already, we have nice discounts for you. And if you're not a member and you want to buy the bundle of both, the discount for the member price is the same price as a membership. So why not become a member, get access to all of our other things, and get the discounted price here too. So the pricing, I'm sure, is going to be the next question. Each individual course is $127 if you're not a member, and it's $107 if you are a member. So it's a $20 discount on each individual if you're a member.
I expected you to say like $300 for each.
Yeah, same here.
Course.
Oh, no. Yeah, we want to make it accessible. We want to make sure that you can get this information and you get this information, and then you're successful in your journey. And then if you want to buy both courses together, it's $247 for a non-member and then $197 for a member. So it's a $50 discount, which is the same price as a membership. So might as well become a member. And then you get access to all of our other discounts and programs, and you can come to our events and things, and, just come hang out.
Having this podcast, we learn something every time we do a podcast. And one maintenance thing that we recently learned is that there's maintenance that has to be done on your fire extinguisher.
Yep.
And neither one of us had ever thought of that. And so that's been a highly neglected area in my RV, I know, is looking at that fire extinguisher and checking that maintenance. So there's lots of maintenance items that even experienced RVers like us still don't know. And you can find out through courses like this.
That fire extinguisher stuff is in the course. And not only do you need to maintain or replace the one that is in your RV, but you probably need about 4 more fire extinguishers too. And it talks about all of that. And then some other unique fire suppression systems you can use for RV refrigerators and things like that. So, yeah.
I've been involved with boot camps. I, was involved with the launch and creation of the first iteration of RVOU, and been involved with this one. And every time I watch these videos, you know, helping out here and there, I'm like, oh, how did I not heard that before? I've watched these courses before, and I'm still picking up stuff. It's really not a course for newbies or anything like that. You know, RV Foundation is really for anyone. You could be a veteran. I guarantee you will learn something. We hear it all the time. People are like, I've been RVing for 10 years. They went to boot camp or RVOU, and they go, oh, wow, I didn't know I needed to do that. You know, so there's always going to be a bit of information that you're going to pick up, if not a lot of information, that you just never really knew just because no one ever told you. I mean, just because we're RVers doesn't mean we're sitting around the campfire talking about fire extinguishers. You know, that doesn't.
Right.
Hopefully not at the campfire. You're not needing a fire extinguisher. But yeah, I mean, I edited all of Jim's videos, and I was picking up pieces of information that I didn't even think about. You know, we're so focused on the full-time logistics side of things that, you know, we forget about some of the regular old RVing stuff.
Yeah, I like that you guys have worked this out for the part-timer and the full-timer both in mind, because I think you even mentioned something about where to stay in the campgrounds and sites like that. Kudos to you guys. This is a really great course. And like I said earlier, it's just the fact that everything in one location is so beneficial. I hope people that are listening just understand just how important that is, that you can take this course and learn everything you need to know and not waste time just like searching. And then like you said before too, about contradicting information. This is great, guys. It's really good.
Yeah, I've done the thing of staying up late at night, you know, scrolling through Google, scrolling through forums, gleaning out all the information, talking to other people. All of us have done it. We've all sat around campfires with hundreds of other RVers, and we're trying to get you what you need without the fluff. You know, we're not telling you our stories about what happened during the day. We're telling you, this is how you do it. This is what needs to be done. These are the considerations you need to take. And hopefully, you know, it'll help you streamline your process, because when we started, like I said, we were busy. We were working. We had a lot of stuff going on in our lives. To come home after a busy day of work and then have to, you know, sift through the entire internet. You know,
Yeah.
The idea is to streamline it.
Yeah, and thanks so much for the kudos. And honestly, Brandon Kerensa, Jim, who's not here with us, Mark, the whole gang deserves a huge kudos. These guys have put, you know, just seeing it from behind the scenes, countless hours into this program and making it even better than it was. And I'm excited. I'm personally very excited about this, the new additions and the new course, and just putting it back out there again on this new platform. I think it's cool.
And Travis, for those that aren't aware of what Escapees offers, can you tell our listeners a little bit about what membership brings for them?
Escapees RV Club is really about a total support network for all RVers. So we talked a lot about Education Day, but that's really just one core component. And we didn't even hit all the education pieces that we have. But in addition to that, we also do a lot of support information. So mail service, domicile, you know, that type of the world as well. Community is another big aspect of the club. And that's really one of probably our primary focus point of the club is our community side of this. So with the education, you're going to find that we're going to tie community back into that. You're going to find that when you come participate in the Facebook groups where you'll also learn, or at an in-person event, once those kind of pick up again, is really a huge asset to your membership beyond just making friends. It's a huge, you know, just social aspect, but you really learn a lot from your fellow RVers in that regard. It's knowing other, you have these social bubbles during times like these that you can rely on and things like that. But so yeah, the club really tries to tap into everything you need as an RVer, an RV enthusiast, really. So we have everything from discounts, we have campgrounds, we have, I mean, the list goes on and on. It's such a robust club and organization that's just been building over the past 42 years. That really the best way to learn it all is to go check out the website, escapees.com, and kind of learn more. The other asset or facet of the club is Escapers, which we haven't mentioned, which is with an X, which was created for the working age RVer. And it was a way to bring working resources and community back into the organization as well. So we've kind of tied that. It's not a separate membership or anything like that. But for those that are working on the road, who may find that RV clubs may not generally be their cup of tea, you know, out of just perception, they may find that we offer a community that is really fits their needs as well. So
yeah, a little bit louder, a little bit rowdier, goes a lot later at night.
But the events don't start until later in the day so that we can work.
Right.
That makes sense.
we try to have something for everyone is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kenny used your mail service, and before we got on the air, Kenny was relaying that he just stopped by Livingston on their way from the East Coast to the West Coast and picked up a whole car full of packages. So I think he really does enjoy the mail service.
I was going to say, I keep patting you guys on the back, but yeah, Sabrina and I have been Escapees members for about 3.5 years. We have your mailing service. We used you for our domicile. And we just recently, within the last 3 weeks, picked up the roadside assistance as well, because we looked at the price. We compared it to what other people were offering. You guys are offering more on your roadside assistance for a lower price than anybody else, concierge service, and a lot of extra bonus features to that. And we were like, oh yeah, this makes sense. We better pick this up too. We really do enjoy your service. Sabrina's on the Facebook page all the time, checking out what's going on with the other members. So yeah, you guys are great. You really are great.
Awesome. Hey.
Great to hear. I mean, we're working for the club now, but that's not how we started out on the road. We started out as members using the mail service, and then we started attending events when Escapers started. We were around, went, and we really got sucked in, and now here we are. And the course is part of RVOU, and we're working with the club, but it's because we find the services and the club so great that we wanted to do that, you know.
And it's very much a family feel. Like there's a lot of couples and family members in the club. Our Escapade team, that's a husband and wife. Jim's wife, Lisa, runs the hops. And so there's a lot of this, you know, family aspect, and everybody knows each other and everybody's known each other forever. And, you know, even if we ever didn't work for Escapees one day, we'll still be part of the family, but I don't know how that's going to happen, that we don't work for them one day. But yeah, it's a really cool feel. And it's not, you know, one of these big faceless clubs that's just trying to nickel and dime you for every single resource. We're really trying our best to provide you, you know, with a good experience on the road. And for a lot of RVers, that community aspect is huge. There's a ton of people, us included, that if we didn't develop a community on the road, we probably wouldn't still be sort of on the road. We're in our cabin right now, but our RV's parked right outside. But, you know, finding people and getting to know people and having people to enjoy this with, and not just kind of going from one site to another, really, really does expand the whole experience.
And I have to selfishly say, you know, that's the special thing about Escapees and what my grandparents created is really this values, this caring and sharing attitude. I mean, look, the reason Brandon Kerensa are awesome and part of this, and you know, they're awesome members first. They said, they were awesome members first. You're still awesome members, just like you guys. It's really about, I think there's a connection with the Escapees community and kind of how it views these projects and and working together and making it better for all of us, kind of attitude that is different. That, you know, I know we try really hard from the board perspective to maintain and keep those values and not make it about the money, not make it about all these things, and, you know, make it accessible to the members, because that's really who we're here for. We are a club. We got to go to events and see these people. I can't get yelled at all the time, you know? So
one thing we didn't touch on, but you just kind of mentioned it there, is advocacy. So one of the things that the club does, which is kind of an intangible benefit, is advocacy. And the advocacy is not for club members, it's for all RVers. So, you know, Escapees has fought big fights before to make sure that RVers can vote, because we are still Americans. Even though we don't have a house, we still have a legal right to vote. So, you know, these are things that come up. And then when COVID first started, a lot of campgrounds were getting shut down, and we understand why, because they're shutting down hotels and campgrounds for tourists, but they forget that there's people out here that aren't tourists. We've been in your state for 3 months. We're safer here than moving around. Yeah. So we jumped up. You know, we had a big advocacy push. We got voices from RVers. We sent that information to senators and, you know, helped try to get things open back up. And Sean, the CEO, he's working a lot within the industry to make sure that we're not forgotten, you know, because the industry, a lot of times, it wants to serve the manufacturers and the dealers. But, you know, we're out here too. And these things actually have to work for us, you know?
So if I'm listening to this in July 2021, where do I go to sign up for the RVOU?
You go to RVersOnlineUniversity.com, and that will take you right there to the homepage for RVers Online University. If you go to Escapees first and go to education, you'll find it very easily too. But we try to make it two ways. You know, you can go to Escapees and look for it, or just go to the name and it'll be right there.
I'll add those links into our show notes. So if you're listening right now, you can go down into our show notes and the links will be right there. You just click the link, it'll bring you right to them.
Well, I think that's all of our questions. Is there anything we forgot to talk about? Any complaints, gripes, anything you want to add to the conversation?
You know, for me personally, it's always a pleasure to be on here with you guys, and glad we got to bring Brandon Kerensa on with us this time. And maybe in the future we'll bring on some other fun staff members and club members too. And but no, thank you guys for having us. Really appreciate us. Appreciate you guys letting us tell a little bit about RVOU, and hopefully we'll be back again in the future.
Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely.
We really appreciate Travis, Kerensa, and Brandon coming on the show and chatting with us about the great features that the RV Online University has to offer. I use Escapees for a lot of their services, and everything they do is top-notch. If you are looking into the RV life or want to learn more about RVing, definitely check out Escapees RV Online University. This one program is going to save you so much time and money when it comes to researching everything you need to know about RVing. Take care, everyone, and safe travels. This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.